Even worse, she still couldn't fly well enough to get back home. Her parents had taken her to camp a long time ago, off on vacation. If only she could, so they could forget how much of a disappointment their daughter was. The two were top-notch flyers of the equestrian national weather team, while she was being held back by her foals with the foals again. Fluttershy barely fought back a small tear. They'll be happier without me. Sighing, Fluttershy leaned over one of the nearby bunnies, her lips curled into an almost motherly smile. "Are you feeling better now?" The bunny's answer was some nose wiggles, all of which the Pegasus would understand. "I'm so glad." In the treetops, a small robin sang out a song towards Fluttershy. The pony grinned and rubbed her forehooves together nervously. "That's right, I'm not really from around here. I actually live way up in the clouds, in a city called Cloudsdale. I wish you could see it, but it's too high up for the birds to fly." The pony gulped, or me, for that matter. The tortoise slowly moved its head upwards, which the pony interpreted as a request for more information. "Well, you see, I'm not a very good flyer. All the other ponies at camps are a lot younger than me. They're always teasing me and calling me names." An anteater looked up from his meal and gurgled out something. Fluttershy shook her head sadly. "I don't think my parents are going to be worried at all. They wanted a good Pegasus after all, and I... She shook her head, clearing her brain of all those negative thoughts. She rose to her hooves, but her thin legs shaking uneasily in this new surface. "No, now's not the time to be feeling sorry for yourself, Fluttershy. You found your special talent, and it's time to put it to good use." She turned back to her new animal friends. "Would you care to show me around? Show me around here? I think it's going to be a good. I think this is going to be my new home for now. From now on." "We were in the middle of the tour when Rainbow Dash came by," Fluttershy finished. Sweetie Belle, her cheeks stuffed with hay fries, turned back to Dash. The mare had already begun to get over her embarrassment at her filly's self-blatant stupidity, if only just enough to keep things going. I guess she has food. Fen, what happened? Fen, what happened? Yeah, okay, you get the point. Well, I just pulled away from my dive and was flying high above the ground, just underneath the cloud layer. As far as I knew, Fluttershy was in mortal danger. The filly darted from one corner of the skyline to the next, her small eyes desperately scanning every inch of the utterly alien world beneath her. Her mouth gaped as she took in the countless sights and smells that came from the world below. Every time she had been down this far, she had usually been speeding at about 50 miles per hour or so, and she had never taken the time to really look at the rest of Equestria. All it did was make her nerves even tighter. She could make out small creatures, the likes of which she had never seen before, huddling around varied collections of plants next to a small pool of water. They were small, furry things with big, bushy tails. Dash grimaced as their little beady eyes locked onto the passing pony. "They must be sizing me up for their next meal. I don't want to land there." About 15 meters from that, I guess... Ooh, probably a European pony. Brony. I like this. Okay, this just changed my mind about the whole story. I'm Swedish, by the way. Half Swedish, so... Me gusta. About 15 meters from that, a gargantuan monstrosity of a beast was scooping up scaly, slimy things from a stream. Its claws shimmering in the sunlight, making the filly's heart skip a beat. Something like that could eat a pony in two bites. And then she saw the legendary dirt. The brown substance covered everything, with only some grass and other plants to conceal it. I hope she didn't land in that stuff that eats you if you land on it. All this confirmed the stories she had been told by her parents. Whenever she brought up the notion of heading back down to Equestria's surface, her father would tell her how dangerous of an idea it was. She was still young back then, and Cloudsdale wasn't exactly the most accessible place for an unskilled flyer. Her mother echoed the same sentiments, telling her time and again not to go exploring down there without an adult, or she might not be able to get back up. The surface was big, they said, and if she got lost, it might be a while before her parents could find her and take her home. Even back then, however, Dash knew the real story. It wasn't because she was too weak of a flyer, even in kindergarten. Sorry, she was pulling off loops and spins like no pony's business. She was so talented that the summer flight camp staff actually moved her up a year just so she could make she could find some kind of challenge. If that wasn't the reason, though, there was only one possibility: monsters. Dash had seen things like dragons and wyverns before, but they mostly left the flying city alone. There were other things, however, that scared her even more. Sorry, I lost my place. Scared her even more. She had never really bothered learning about the beasts that roamed the surface, but she knew enough to recognize how quickly they could devour a pony. If a pony landed in just the wrong spot, they could find themselves inside a creature's stomach in no time at all. Even the foals that managed to survive the barbaric waste long enough to attend summer flight camp remarked on how much safer the clouds were than a place like Manhattan and Philadelphia. Except for except for the ones from Canterlot, but they were excuse me, except for the ones from Canterlot, but they were all snobs. And besides, they had Princess Celestia there to zap up all the monsters, so they had nothing to worry about. But this pony, Dash shuddered at the thoughts of the implications of this trip. She knew all of the stories by heart, and was certain to keep things like this could be waiting for it. Yeah, I think I read that right. Sorry. It was probably already too late for the poor pony. No, I have got to keep looking. It's my fault she's down here to begin with. I just need to make sure she's alive. As if Celestia's providence, Dash finally caught a glimpse of the yellow Pegasus, strolling down towards some grassy field of some kind. It was right then that she realized the flaw in her cunning plan. She had no way to get the pony back to Cloudsdale. She certainly couldn't carry a pony that old on her back, and given what she had seen, there was no way she could fly after her. Her eyes drifted upwards, towards a few small, low-hanging clouds. With a devilish smile, she flew off to begin her operation. Fluttershy yelped in surprise as the Pegasus pony from before flew up alongside her. Between the foal's hooves sat a small cloud, just the perfect size to fit any little pony. The blue filly sighed in relief as she saw the still breathing yellow Pegasus. "Thanks, Celestia. Are you okay?" The yearling smiled. Her old insecurities threatened to grip her voice, but she could still feel some of that confidence she had gained from only moments before. Any lingering doubts were also smothered by her appreciation for the brave filly helping her with those bullies. "Oh, I'm sorry. I guess we never really did introduce ourselves. I'm Fluttershy." The blue filly smiled and extended a hoof. "Name's Rainbow Dash, fastest flyer in Cloudsdale, and soon to be champ of all of Equestria." That's nice," Fluttershy said. She was not quite used to speaking to another pony this long. "So, what brings you down here?" Rainbow rolled her eyes before settling her hooves down on the cloud. The feeling of something familiar, even if in this bizarre landscape, was more than a little comforting. I'm trying to rescue you, duh. Just hop onto this baby and I'll take you back to camp. If we hurry, we could get there before snack time." Fluttershy's smile vanished as she stared to the fluffy puff of frozen water crystals. "Well, thanks for coming, but I don't really need to get back right now, do I?" "What Equestria are you talking about?" Dash responded. "We have to get back now. If the counselors know you fell down here, we'll all be in trouble." "How can you be worried about that right now?" Fluttershy asked. She waved a leg around, her hoof sweeping up over the various trees, plants, animals, lakes, and other assorted natural objects lying around. "Look around you." Wow. "Look around you. There are things here that you'd never be able to see up in Cloudsdale. These are rivers and grass and everything else. No having to wait for food to be carried up by other Pegasi or making sure you're not drinking what's going to be rainwater." She pointed up to the sky. The summer flight camp was still situated overhead. The place wasn't scheduled to be moved again for another few hours. And have you ever seen just how wonderful the sky looks from here? Clouds look so much more beautiful when you're far away like this, don't you think?" Dash gulped, her eyes still locked in the small field of green Fluttershy was standing on. Yeah, whatever. Look, we have a serious problem here. You're on the..." She gulped even louder than before. "Ground." Fluttershy smiled. "Of course. Don't you know what lives on the ground?" Fluttershy was thoughtful for a second. "Well, there's the squirrels and raccoons and bunnies and... Oh, of course. There's fish and birds and bugs and... Yeah, and do you know what those things to be eating your face off while you sleep? Want those things, sorry." The entire field fell silent. Fluttershy just stared at Dash in bewilderment. It reminded her of the old pony's tales that would be told around bedtime. Sometimes mothers would tell their foals stories about manticores and hydras living on the ground just to keep them quiet at night, but that was it. Even the ponies that were affected mostly grew out of it by the time they got out of kindergarten. Even a pony as timid as her had stopped believing such stories a long time ago. Then the yearling caught Dash's eye. Caught Dash's eye. Yeah. They were shaking with unbridled terror, and not of that of being caught outside of flight campgrounds. The young pony honestly seemed to believe all this nonsense. Rainbow, there's nothing to worry about. None of these animals eat ponies. They just eat nuts and seeds and grass, like us. Exactly, Dash exclaimed. She sank deeper into the cloud, as if trying to pull her whole body inside until the danger was past. They know we have all this stuff inside our bellies. We're just a big buffet to them. She pointed to a nearby chipmunk, who quickly recoiled in surprise. Why, I bet that one is sizing up your wings right now. He must think they're full of, what's that thing Mom keeps calling them? Fiber. Dash's eyes drifted downwards as her natural shyness began to return. Well, I don't think they want to eat you. I mean, Mr. Chipmunk was actually out gathering some twigs for his family, so... Dash raised an eyebrow. One of the few parts of her still visible to the ground at the name. Mr. Chipmunk? You mean, do you actually understand these monsters? Like I said, they're not monsters, Fluttershy chided. And I don't know how I can talk to him. I just can. It's my special talent, after all. She sheepishly pointed towards the small butterfly marks on her flank. See? That flank. Rainbow Dash's head poked out of the cloud completely, tossing aside cotton ball-sized puffs as she did so. She stared at the image quizzically, as if trying to fathom what bizarre beast had attached itself to Fluttershy's rump. It wasn't until she recognized the coloring as being that of a cutie mark that she realized exactly what was going on. I see. So your special talent is making evil creatures do your bidding? They're not evil! The small herd of animals fled towards the nearby trees. Rainbow Dash ducked into her security cloud, with only her tail sticking out. Fluttershy took a few steps back herself, squeaking sorrowfully as she tried to lower her voice. I mean, I'm sorry if I scared you, but I didn't want to. The first few sobs came just as Dash poked part of her head out of the whiteness.